The scream cut through the crisp morning air like a crack in glass, sharp, sudden, impossible to ignore. I was only a few steps ahead on the trail, jogging beneath the pale daylight filtering through the park trees, when I heard it. I turned around and saw my neighbor, Marina Halden, staggering sideways, her hands grasping desperately at nothing before she crumpled onto the path. Her face twisted in pain, her breath trembling. I rushed toward her, but before I could reach out, she looked at me with watery eyes and whispered, barely audible but unmistakably deliberate, "It's because of you." My heart kicked against my ribs. I froze in confusion, caught between guilt I didn't understand and the shock of hearing those words. "Because of me?" I asked, stunned, bending down beside her. "Why, what did I do?" Before the story continues, viewers, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of simple human compassion, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Chronicles. Your support truly keeps these stories alive. I hovered beside her, unsure whether she was blaming me, warning me, or saying something entirely different. Her hand shook as she tried to move her ankle, but she winced instantly, her shoulders tightening. I could see the swelling already blooming beneath her sock. Morning joggers passed at a distance, too far to notice anything unusual. The world felt unnervingly silent except for the sound of her shallow breaths. I finally found my voice again and asked if she could stand. She didn't answer. Instead, she pressed her lips together, as if she was fighting a storm inside her chest, and then whispered, "I was trying to catch up to you." I blinked. Catch up, to me? I had never spoken more than a casual hello to her before today, though she lived only 2 doors away from me. She was polite, quiet, always moving with the kind of confidence that made me think she needed nothing from anyone. Yet now she looked small, fragile, shaken. "I didn't want to bother you," she said, her gaze fixed on the ground. "But I needed to tell you something." But before she could continue, her ankle gave another throb and she sucked air through her teeth. I knew we needed to get help. I helped her sit fully on the grass beside the trail, where the sunlight gently warmed her tired face. She didn't resist. As she leaned back against a tree trunk, her breathing steadied slightly. I told her I would call for a ride to the clinic, but she shook her head firmly. "No clinics," she insisted. "Just, help me get home. Please." There was something in her voice, trembling, urgent, yet pleading, that made me nod without hesitation. I crouched down, helped her carefully to her feet, and let her lean heavily on me as we made our slow, uneven way out of the park. The short walk felt like a mile. She tried to hide her pain, but I could feel her weight shift, her grip tighten, her breath quiver every few steps. And all the while, her earlier words echoed through my head. "It's because of you." Once we reached her porch, I helped her sit down on the outdoor bench, the sunlight spilling warmly over the wooden boards. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the brightness wash over her face before opening them again, softer this time, almost apologetic. "I didn't mean to scare you with what I said," she murmured. "I just didn't know how else to say it." I pulled up a small chair beside her. "Then tell me now. What did you mean?" For a long moment, she watched the leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Then she sighed, rubbed her palms together, and finally spoke. "The truth is, I've been trying to talk to you for weeks." Her voice cracked slightly. "I see you jogging every morning. You always look so focused, so determined. I thought, maybe you could help me." I frowned, unsure where she was going with this. I wasn't a trainer or a motivational coach. I was just someone trying to keep my life together after losing my younger brother, Evan, earlier that year. The grief still clung to me like invisible dust, dulling everything around me. Jogging was the one thing that kept my mind quiet. She must have noticed my confusion, because she took a deep breath and added, "My mother passed away in March. She always told me I needed to take care of myself, but after she was gone, I stopped doing everything: eating properly, sleeping properly, living properly." I felt stuck. Then one morning, I saw you jogging past my window. And for the first time in months, something inside me said, "Move. Just move." Her eyes glistened as she looked away. "You became my reminder. My push. My reason to step outside again." Her words washed over me slowly, settling into the spaces I didn't know were still open. I had never imagined anyone saw me that way, certainly not in a way that mattered. I thought I was invisible. Just another neighbor trying to survive another day. But to her, I somehow represented a spark she had lost. She let out a small laugh, self-conscious and shaky. Today I wanted to keep up with you. I thought maybe I could finally talk to you, thank you, maybe tell you that you helped me more than anyone else did. I ran too fast. I twisted my ankle. I fell. And, well, it is because of you. She shrugged with a gentle, warm sadness. But not in the way you think. I felt my chest tighten, not with guilt, but with something that felt like clarity. For so long, I had been drowning quietly, believing no one could see I was barely staying afloat. Yet here was someone telling me that my struggle, my effort, my small attempt to keep going, had helped her rise again. Daylight drifted across the porch, bright and soft, touching both of us as if urging us toward honesty. I leaned back against the railing and took a slow breath before telling her the part one rarely shared with anyone. I didn't start jogging to get fit, I said quietly. I started because I needed something, anything, to stop the memories from swallowing me. My younger brother died. I didn't know how to exist without him. Running was the only thing that made me feel like I could breathe again. Her eyes softened, her expression folding into something deeper than sympathy, understanding. So we were both trying to survive, she murmured. That's exactly what it felt like, I admitted. For several minutes, we sat without speaking, listening to the distant sounds of birds and cars, the daylight settling peacefully around us. There was comfort in that silence, a shared heaviness that somehow made everything feel lighter. After a while, I convinced her to let me help wrap her ankle. She relented, giving me the small first aid kit she kept in the drawer near the door. I knelt down carefully, the sunlight warming my back as I wrapped the bandage gently around the swelling. She hissed in pain once or twice, but she didn't ask me to stop. When I finished, she whispered a soft, heartfelt thank you. Her gratitude, quiet and sincere, felt like something fragile placed directly into my hands. Of the next few days, I brought her groceries, helped her water her plants, and made sure she had everything she needed. Each visit felt less like an obligation and more like something I wanted to do. We talked more about her mother, about my brother, about the strange way grief could hollow you out but still allow space for new things to grow. What surprised me most was how easy it became to share pieces of myself with her. I had avoided emotional closeness for so long, terrified that any new attachment would only lead to another loss. But with Marina, there was no pressure, no expectation. Just presence. Simple, quiet, human presence. As her ankle healed, she started joining me again outside, but this time, instead of trying to chase me blindly, she walked beside me slowly, steadily. Day after day, as the sun rose and lit the world gently, our footsteps fell in unison. We talked, laughed carefully, breathed deeply. And little by little, both of us began to feel alive again. One morning, perhaps 3 weeks later, as the sunlight filtered down in warm ribbons across the sidewalk, she stopped and turned toward me. You know, she said softly, that day I fell. I was embarrassed at first. But now I'm glad it happened. If it hadn't, we wouldn't be talking like this. I smiled, feeling something inside me shift, something warm, something that felt like healing. I'm glad, too, I said. Maybe we both needed that moment more than we realized. She nodded, her eyes shimmering under the daylight. Maybe we did. As we continued walking, our shadows stretched side by side on the bright pavement, long and peaceful. The world didn't feel as heavy anymore. The warmth around us felt like a quiet promise that healing was possible, that connection could grow in the most unexpected ways, and that sometimes the universe nudged two broken people toward each other exactly when they needed it most. If you've watched this far, if this story touched your heart or reminded you of the quiet strength found in kindness, loss, or second chances, please kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Chronicles. Your support truly helps more than you know.